IPMNation.com.
Previously on Angry Drunk Tales.
Every time I see that jerk sitting around the office, makes me want to puke. If you'd have taken me in as a full partner, I never would have had to go behind you.
Be angry.
Downright cruel. What are you doing now? Turning this place into a bakery?
Me write angry emails.
He just doesn't have the capacity to forgive and forget like I do. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. I won't have to call you back. A tornado just blew in.
Episode 26. You stole my boots and bowls.
Me still angry. Me continue to write long, rambling, drunken emails. Me continue to be angry over incident several weeks ago. Me have emotional intelligence of 5-year-old child. Me bitter and frustrated with myself over being drunken 300-pound tub of shit. Me undiagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. Me dishonest cunt. Me write angry emails. Me hate everyone.
Welcome to episode 26 of Angry Drunk Tales here on IPM Nation. I am Matt Connerton.
And I am Jenny Coffey.
And of course, we are the former roommates of
Dishonest cunt.
And this week, well, we just, last week with episode 25, it was a major story arc. It was our parting shot from
Dishonest cunt.
Yes.
an email that he sent to us right after we had moved out, basically saying, as he put it in the email, good long and good riddance.
Exactly.
Because-
so one would think, good long and good riddance, and we shall never hear from one again.
I guess
but alas, no.
I guess in his drunken stupor, he couldn't decide whether to say goodbye or so long. So he said good long.
Either that or it's just one of his bizarre Edwardisms.
Or maybe he was referring to the penis of the man with whom he was in a relationship when he was in that MFM relationship he told us about.
That's right. That's right. Maybe that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't know with these types of individuals, shall we say.
Good long.
Good long.
Right in his mouth.
Yes.
He never took it in the ass. He told me that during one of our summits. He never took it in the ass. That's the one thing he had never done.
Well,
which was
let's
reassuring to know. Good for you.
More information than a roommate should share with a roommate.
Yeah, it's funny because I never asked him about that. I never said, so did you ever take it in the ass?
No, I actually never asked him any questions about his sexuality. He just seemed to really want to tell you.
Yeah, he would volunteer that information.
Yeah.
Dishonest cunt.
Was that kind of guy.
I still think he was hinting at something.
I think he was disappointed that he couldn't get you.
Probably.
I think that's what it was.
Probably.
He despised me because he wanted you for himself.
He was jealous. He wanted me to be the one, the first one, to put it in his ass.
Oh, that's just disgusting.
But I was not in a position to, I could not reciprocate.
Gross.
I could not reciprocate his desire for me.
That's a visual that no one needs in their mind.
I realize
cruel. That's cruelty.
I'm
That's
realizing
radio cruelty.
I'm realizing now for the first time all those nights that he would stand in our doorway drinking and smoking and babbling nonsense. He was undressing me with his eyes.
Well, he was only talking to you.
That's
He
true.
wasn't talking to me.
That's true.
There is some. Ew.
I think
I think I need to go see a therapist now.
I think when he was
I need some specialized therapy to get that visual out of my head.
when he was babbling on about the fantastic episode of Breaking Bad that he just watched, it was all really just code. It was subtext. What he was really trying to communicate was, Matt, I want you to do me in the butt.
Aw, jeez.
I realize that now. I didn't realize that then.
The thought of seeing you and grosses me out so bad.
Yes. Well, imagine how I feel having been the object of his desire.
I can only imagine the horror that you must feel.
That's the real underlying cause of all this. I can see it now so clearly. It
Perhaps
was
one should
sexual tension.
Counseling.
No homo, as they say. But that's what they say in the hood. That's what the kids are saying
really?
now. No homo.
That's the new language.
That's the new thing.
Well, what if you are homo?
Well, then you do have homo. Then I guess it's yes
Then you
homo.
say yes homo.
Yes.
Okay.
So we left off with that parting shot, what seemed like a parting shot, but I think we knew deep down there would be no parting shot, that he would find an excuse.
Oh, say thee nay.
He loves sending these emails. And
Long,
sure enough,
drunken, rambling, sociopathic, disgusting.
yes.
Although there are times that you are left to wonder because you can read the sentence many, many times, but not be able to make the attempted English make sense.
Well, as the evening progresses, because he'll send several emails in an evening, and as the evening progresses, emails get less coherent as the alcohol flows into his system. His grammar and syntax begin to suffer. But the next email that we got, so the last one was on. It was late at night, or was it actually the next day? It's dated July 27th. I'm not sure if it was just that it was after midnight or it was the next night.
With him, most everything is late at night.
Well,
so.
yeah. But then we jump ahead. The next thing that we got from him, and this was a surprise, we jump ahead to August 2nd. So we had received that seemingly parting shot from him. But then on August 2nd, we received this. But what's unique about this is like no other email communication that we had ever received from him, because this did not come to my email. This came to me through the IPM Nation site. He had apparently gone to the Contact Us page on IPM Nation, because you can send an email that way, or you can just fill out the message form, whatever you want to call it, on the page. Instead of sending a formal email, you just send a message. And he sent this, apparently not realizing where it went. Apparently not realizing that I own IPM Nation and that I would be the one receiving this.
Which
dummy.
is hysterical.
Yeah, and this
absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, this is what he wrote. Jen Kufi uses a title in her emails that is not ever given to ex-state or even current state representatives, only given to judges and governors. And Matt Connerton is a pathological liar. These people are two of the biggest users, bullshitters I have ever met in my life, and they simply believe that image is more important than substance. That being said, their image is also a joke, by the way. So that is what he sent. And our belief is that he thought he was sending that to MPTS, which of course is where we do the television edition of Unleashed.
Well, where you do the television
edition
of Unleashed,
Yeah.
because I don't appear on MPTS.
Right. You have in the past a few times, but you generally only do
guest most of the time.
you generally only do the radio edition.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's funny about this too is, well, yeah. First of all, I mean, he can't even get your name right. He writes Jen Kufi.
Yeah, that's happened to me on occasion.
But the whole thing about
You'd think coffee would be easy to pronounce.
yeah, but the whole thing about you using the title of honorable,
Yep.
that becomes a recurring theme in these emails over and over again in the future. And,
I
and
know,
you'll
and
see,
it's like,
and he's wrong.
well, it's
completely
like,
wrong.
Would you just call the Secretary of State's office? They'll clear your head for you.
Yeah,
It's not hard.
You're a former New Hampshire state legislator.
I am.
You are given the title of honorable, and of course, in politics, you continue to carry the title of the highest office that you last held. So you will always be called that.
What's funny about having that thrown at me is way back in 2008, when I was being courted to run for office. Now a current New Hampshire senator, then a former New Hampshire legislator, actually said to me, if you get elected, even just for one term, then you're going to be honorable for the rest of your life, and you can put it on your gravestone. And I literally looked at him and said, are you seriously trying to use my epitaph as a selling point to run for office? And he's like, yep. And it's kind of funny that was used as a way of trying to persuade me, which it had little effect on me, trust me. But to now have somebody go, you don't know what you're doing. It's like, actually, I do. And what's interesting is when I go to the State House, and if I'm going up there to testify in front of a committee or something like that, then when they call my name, they either call me as the Honorable Jen Coffey, or they'll say former Representative Jen Coffey, or something to that effect. But they always give me some kind of a title, which actually took me by surprise because I didn't expect that. So my first time back up there after stepping down from office, I was kind of a shocker. I didn't anticipate it, I guess would be the word I would use. So it's kind of funny that he goes there. There are actually hundreds of honorables all across the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Dishonest cunt! Dishonest cunt!
Be afraid. There are honorables everywhere. They're around the corner from where you live.
It's no different from when, if you were...
serve them food.
If you were a governor, you continue to be called governor. If you were a president, you continue to be called president.
Governors,
it's no different.
Actually, in most cases with governors, they always say governor. I've never really heard a governor referred to as honorable, unless in handwritten, maybe.
Yeah.
So in handwritten or in typed fashion, the form of honorable or the short form of HON are acceptable.
Yeah.
But with governors, usually they're always governor. Like everybody still calls Huckabee Governor Huckabee.
Of course.
They don't call him the Honorable Huckabee. They call him Governor Huckabee.
Right. So the dummy sent that to us on the IPM Nation site. That was August 2nd. And then, all right, so we thought, well, maybe that'll be the end. But then we began to receive a fresh barrage of emails from him. And this is where it just gets more and more interesting because...
And twisted.
Oh, yeah.
And bizarre.
This show is really just getting started at episode 26.
And
I will now present you with the email that he sent us on August 6th, and it's a few paragraphs. So this will be this episode's dramatic reading. This is what we received the night of August 6th, or the morning, because it's typically after midnight that he sends these. So I inspected the 3 keys that were left more closely, and as far as I can determine, there are out 10 keys that were not returned to me. I'm sorry, he misspelled it. There are about 10 keys that were not returned to me. And seeing as how Angela stole an AC from me, by the way, I have spoken to
Napoleon Bonaparte
about numerous things concerning the whole thing there and whether or not anyone was ever asked if Jesse could move in, and found out the answer was no. I am concerned about you all having keys to my place. The fact that Angela stole an AC that did not belong to her kind of illustrates a point here too, by the way. I mean, I suspect it was Angela, but it could have been any of you. At the end of the day, when I reread emails concerning the whole Matt, Jen,
Napoleon Bonaparte
thing, it's obvious as hell to me that I was basically manipulated by you all to provide housing for Jesse. Housing that started at 6 weeks, then became all summer, and then meant storing his crap all year, with him returning every vacation. You people just take. That's pretty obvious now. Especially when I look back at how the eviction of the upstairs neighbors was pushed so hard for by one person, and just one person. When I thought about it originally, I was a bit uncomfortable with the idea that somehow or another a family with young children might become homeless. That's the way I felt about it back then. But quickly, the whole new drama was presented to me based off of
Napoleon Bonaparte.
asking you to leave. And now thinking back, I probably should have let him evict you. Because now I have a better understanding of why he did that than I was presented with before. And yes, I also realize how you played me to accomplish the goals that you and Jen wanted. You can say it's something else, but it's quite obvious looking back at prior circumstances that the two of you basically whipped me up against
Napoleon Bonaparte.
in many cases.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Did not like the fact that you were attempting to occupy his home. After
Napoleon Bonaparte.
was gone, you all pushed ahead with that exact thing, occupying over 50% of the apartment as 3 people paying far less than anyone else to live here. 3 people splitting $450 per month at $150 per month, each yet late for 2 months still. And that's that email. That last part, I don't even
Each late
know what the
for
hell.
2 months still.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
Well, which is why, if you remember, I wrote checks, and I wrote precisely on the checks who the rent check was to cover and
Yeah.
where the location was, and I photocopied it. And of course, there's a copy of it cashed in the bank,
Right.
Because I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting how he twists back that whole story, because if our listeners remember, if you go back to the early days of our chronicles, then you can remember that
Dishonest cunt!
was very angry with
Napoleon Bonaparte.
because of him posting what he perceived to be bigoted things on Facebook, for which he attacked him on, and that's how the whole mess with
Napoleon Bonaparte.
started in the first place, was the two of them having a Facebook exchange and
Dishonest cunt!
accusing
Napoleon Bonaparte.
of being a bigot.
Yeah.
That was the whole start of the thing.
Right. He throws in this stuff, too, about the upstairs neighbors. We had nothing to do with any of that.
Now, that was in place before we even moved in, that they were starting the eviction process with them.
Yeah, the landlord wanted them out.
Well, yeah, because
had nothing to do with any of us.
the landlord had 4 different signs on the front door in various languages,
Yeah.
begging and pleading for the front door to be closed behind them, because when it's negative 30 degrees outside, it freezes the first floor apartment
Yeah.
that had very young children in it.
Yeah.
Young meaning, little bitty kids. Young upstairs was 13 or older, and just absolutely disregard for everybody. They would leave the door wide open. I mean, I don't know how many times you went down there and shut it,
Yeah.
or came home and found it wide
Oh,
open.
yeah. All the time. All the time.
It was awful. And the landlord was constantly complaining about them, and he was evicting them prior to us even moving in. It's just a process, and it takes quite a few months. And then when it did happen, he said, if you know anybody looking for an apartment, send them our way.
Yeah.
So we did.
Yeah. Yeah, we had nothing to do with getting
We
them
had nothing
kicked
to do
out.
with them getting out.
Why would we even give a shit? Why would we have engineered
They
anything
had
like
no
that
effect
anyway?
on us at all.
And I don't remember
Dishonest cunt!
at the time, by the way, expressing any concern about them being homeless. He didn't give a shit. He didn't like them either because they were always leaving the door open.
Well, he also complained about their noise
Of
because
course.
it was right above his room. It
Yeah.
wasn't above our room, so it didn't phase us one bit.
Right. But now he goes, oh, I was concerned about them. No, he wasn't. He's such a liar. He just lies about everything.
We engineered. We are really. You know what? Wait a minute. We should maybe take stock in all of the wonder that he has bestowed upon us. We have engineered the eviction of a full family. We engineered
Napoleon Bonaparte.
to write things on his Facebook page to make
Dishonest cunt!
angry about bigotry and for that fight to occur, and then exploited it to make it bigger. We engineered Angela to come out of the woodwork, who wasn't friends with any of us and knew none of us from a hole in the head, to suddenly show up on our doorstep saying,
Napoleon Bonaparte.
told me to move in.
Right.
We're really freaking good, man. We ought to sit down and take the Mensa exam.
Yeah. It's
We're
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, let me know.
Oh, and the thing about the keys, by the way, because he mentions
yeah.
the keys again.
Oh, yes.
Again, the reason we didn't give the keys back, I held on to them intentionally because we were paid up till the end of the month. We left on August 26th, but we were paid till the end of the month. And I wanted to keep them just in case we realized later we forgot something or whatever, because we had every right to enter that apartment until the end of the month.
That's right.
But he emailed us, if you remember, in his parting shot email, he told us, I'm changing the locks tomorrow. So my attitude was, all right, well, screw you then. If you're changing the locks tomorrow, even though you have no right to lock us out because we're paid till the end of the month, then fine. I'll just take these keys and toss them in the trash, because what's it matter? So, and I mentioned that too because that becomes a recurring theme in future emails, and it actually is hilarious the way it recurs, and you'll see in future episodes.
Oh, it gets really, really friggin' interesting.
Oh yeah, the keys thing the way it keeps coming up. It's like you'll see.
You think he's OCD? He gets
I
very
think he has-
fixated on particular
he has many
weird
issues.
items.
He has many issues.
Flat out, I'm changing the locks, and then I want my keys back. Hello,
By the way,
anybody home?
before we wrap up this episode
Bueller.
just say he did follow that up with a very short email. Actually, there were quite a few emails that night. Oh my God, there's a whole bunch. But we'll save the next long one for the next show. But just a quick one.
Let's leave us with some parting reading.
Yeah. This came immediately after that long one that I read. Also interesting is the fact that I had 4 white ceramic bowls before you all moved in, and they are gone. And so is a pair of $300 boots. I hope whoever you gave them to enjoys them as much as I did last winter, along with a number of other small items. At the end of the day, though, I see it is worth it to be done with 4 users. So, and the boots thing, that becomes a recurring theme.
Yeah, ew.
And by the way,
Ew. Do not wear, for one thing, don't wear anybody else's shoes. But
Yeah.
for another thing, Edward, you have really small frickin' feet. There's not a man around me that could fit into those teeny little boots.
and by the way, too, I bet I know what happened to these bowls he's talking about. Remember when
Napoleon Bonaparte.
was not yet moving out, but things started disappearing from the kitchen?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Ed put them in a big giant box in Alex's room.
Yeah. I bet that's where those bowls went.
That's where everything went. And then, yeah. And then I remember all that stuff got put in the hallway.
Yeah.
And then he posted a Craigslist ad telling people, free shit, come get it, out in the hallway without specifying the second floor. And our landlord
Dumbass.
lost things out of the first floor that he had stored in the hallway.
Yep.
And
Fucking idiot.
Edward went on a freaking panic attack.
Yeah,
And started trying to do something and posted sign and, tried to change the Craigslist listing. But man, the damage was already done. There was like computers and shit missing from downstairs, and it was just a
What
horror
an
show.
idiot.
A fucking horror show.
Just an idiot.
Oh, Alex, you want to know where your shit went? That's where it went. No, we woke up to it.
Yeah. Oh, there was something else I was going to. I don't.
Let's see,
I don't remember now.
miscellaneous other things like what?
Yeah.
Ew. There was nothing you had. Nothing you had that meant shit to any of us.
Right.
Or wanted.
Yep.
There are things we left behind because we didn't want them. I hope you loved the little angel soap dish. That was just for you.
So we'll wrap up episode 26 with that. We'll when we come back tomorrow
Douchebag.
with episode 27, we will have another dramatic reading from that same evening. Oh yes, he was on quite a roll, as he often gets. So I don't know. So if you we need a new tagline. Now that we've turned a
If
corner
you are
in our
that
story.
fucking bored with your life that all you can do is harass people that used to live with you, you need to seek psychological counseling.
Oh, you talking to me or to somebody else?
Somebody else.
Oh, okay.
You know.
That was a veiled reference to some of the more recent emails that we've gotten, but we'll get to those later in the series. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Dishonest cunt!
IPMNation.com.